Welcome one and all to our review of AGV's K1 full face helmets. So today we're taking a look at AGV's Pista GP. What's up? It's course, not the Corsa even. It's K1. It's K1, right? Yeah, all these helmets look the same, don't they? From AGV. Yeah, so this is the AGV K1. And this is a full-face sports helmet. It's designed to get you around the track as quickly, safely as possible, but also in the most Spartan way possible. This is a helmet that's kind of devoid of special features, really, which is in itself a special feature. It's very Spartan in its design and its feel, which isn't a bad thing, because this helmet is only going to set you back $170 US at the recommended retail price. And any sports helmet at that kind of entry-level cost is definitely worth further investigation, because if a helmet at that cost can be a safe helmet and function as a helmet, it's going to be a pretty good bargain. So this helmet is going to be an improved version of the K3, and that I think explains why AGV have made these helmets so low on cost, because they can't count. Obviously they went from the K3 to the K1. I mean, the maths is clear, but yeah, it's going to be just a general improvement upon most aspects of the K3, really. And remember, if you want to see reviews of helmets like this or anything like that, be sure to check out our YouTube page, and from there you'll be able to find all of our latest reviews on your favorite gear. Alright, so to start off with, we're going to have a look at the shell. It's been made out of a thermoplastic resin material, and this is not a premium material by any standards, but it is what we expect for an entry-level helmet, and it's still going to be strong, but it will be a little bit heavier overall. Now, this helmet, the K1, at the moment does not have a sharp safety rating, so that's unfortunate, but there are similar helmets from AGV, like the K3, that are made with the same material, and they've scored around 4 stars. Now, I'm not saying that this helmet is going to score 4 stars, but I'm saying that yeah, similar helmets of a similar material do score around that mark, so we expect that the shell will be quite strong. Now, we will actually wait until the sharp safety rating comes out before we make any judgments, but this helmet does have an ECE rating, and the ECE rating is held to a pretty high standard among riders, so it's going to be an overall safe helmet. So if we get round to the back here, it has this big spoiler, which is great for your airflow and your aerodynamics, but it also looks cool, and it makes the helmet look a bit more like some of those other AGV full-face racing helmets. Now, with this helmet, I did weigh it, and I weighed it, this helmet the size L, and it came in at 1,600 grams, which is pretty good. It's well within the 1,580 plus or minus 50 listed by AGV on the helmet itself, and you know, that's fine. I always find the minus part of the plus or minus a little bit optimistic from manufacturers, but hey, they were honest with the weight of this helmet, and that makes me quite happy. And 1,600 grams for a thermoplastic shell, not great, not bad, average. It's what we'd expect. So the visor of the K1 it's alright overall. It's got a nice wide field of view, which is handy, but it is a little bit low. So if you're in a very deep tuck on your bike, you're not going to be able to see a whole lot, which is a bit of a letdown, but this is a sports helmet, not a full-on racing helmet. So you can still get into a tuck and feel comfortable with this helmet on. So it does fit its purpose, I guess, there. For the visor, it's a pretty good visor. It feels quite sturdy, I have to say. And it's been anti-scratch treated. You can lift it up. You want to take it off, it's quite simple. This little red thing here, just going to pull down on that, and it pops out. Pull it off, and you want to put it back on. Just reseat it, push it back on. Sadly, it didn't like snap into place, but it is on. And yeah, like I said, it feels fairly sturdy, which is quite nice on an entry-level helmet. Further, you might have noticed we have pins. These pins are there for a pin lock lens, of course, but it's not provided in the box. You have to purchase it separately, and that does make sense. It's a Spartan helmet, Spartan feel, but yeah. If you really want some extra demisting power straight away, just you can use this little thing here and crack the visor open. So for ventilation, we have plenty of options. It looks a bit like that of the piece of GPR on top here. It's not though, it's a bit different. We have this, which I showed you just before. It technically counts as a ventilation tool, I suppose. Then you have these two vents here, and you can open them and close them on the inside with a chin, which is a bit annoying. It's difficult to do while you're riding unless you're trying to like dig your finger up in there. It's awkward to say the least. So I'm not the biggest fan of that, but the vents are pretty good. They direct air directly onto your chin, but also here it's going to go onto your visor, which is pretty handy. On top, the three vents, each one can be open and closed individually, which I appreciate. It's better than the system with the piece of GPR where you have to put in rubber stoppers for sure. But the main real attraction here is the EPS, and that's because there are several different holes and several different channels in the EPS for the air to travel through. It helps to circulate better over your head, and then that helps to keep you cool. So I think that's the real star of this ventilation system, the channels in the EPS. At the back, we're going to have the exhaust here, so a vent here and a vent there. It's going to bring air out, and yeah, it works okay. It's a little bit limited, but it's going to pull hot air out the back of your head. Overall, the ventilation is a fairly strong aspect of this helmet, and yeah, it's really helped by these three vents and all those channels and holes in the EPS. Now let's look at the noise isolation, and if you want a quiet helmet, please look elsewhere. For an entry-level sports helmet, the K1 will be about average, but don't expect much from it. You can see in our test here, we placed the mic in the ear of our dummy head, and we blasted the same tone from the same distance at the same volume to the naked mic and the mic when it was in the helmet by its ear. So I hope your bike does sound better than this tone, but you can see a small difference in the decibel reading. This is what I expected from the K1, and it represents a low level of noise isolation. Time for my favorite parts. We're going to take the liner out of this helmet. So grab my donut. And the liner of the K1 is fairly good actually. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge to really take out, but when you get it out, it's going to be washable. Obviously you can remove it, as I've just done. It's going to come out in three different pieces with the wind guard on your chin. And you can just pull this off, pull this one off. Also, don't forget the one more towards the back on either side. There it is. And then you can kind of just like pull it out, go around, pull it out, keep on pulling it out, come to here, get a grip on it, and then pull it out. So the chin pads are kind of connected to the neck roll here. That's not bad at all. Then the headliner, interestingly, is pretty normal. It's going to come off. There are snaps, sorry, no snaps. Bit of Velcro and some pins. It's a little bit of a stiff liner to take off actually. So what I like about the K1 though is that you can see here on the head roll and all that, on the top of the head and the cheek pads, there's no real excess string. Everything is nicely finished. You don't always see this with your more entry-level helmets, but AGV haven't cut corners here where they could have, and that is, I think, quite impressive. All right, so we have a look at the EPS now, and you can see those channels and those holes, several different options, lots of kind of room for ventilation to go through this helmet, which is nice. Then we have cutouts for speakers here with removable inserts, and it's painted black. So overall, it's quite a nice finish. Like I just said, this is a good sign of quality from AGV with the K1. So I've said a few times that this is a Spartan helmet. I think that really holds true. It's a helmet that's been designed without frills, and I think it's very obvious. So this is a $170 US helmet. Remember that. Everything's been made to a low price, to a low cost, but it still has very clear purpose and functions well for that purpose. So it's an amazing helmet really, and full of great value. Sure, there are other helmets out there with better noise isolation, a lighter shell, a more comfortable liner, everything like that, but this helmet only costs $170 US. Remember that, that's extremely low. And for a helmet at this end of the entry-level spectrum, having such a high quality finish and such a well-performing design is quite uncommon. Now, if you're looking for a bit more value, you can find the AGV K1 at championhelmets.com, and in the bundles you'll be able to pick up a visor in the color of your choice for 50% off. So be sure to get onto that if you're interested. The AGV K1 is a purpose-built sports helmet coming in at an amazingly budget price. This is a no-frills helmet that's going to do everything it needs to for a sports helmet pretty well. Now, what's amazing though is that AGV haven't skipped corners to cut the price down and reduce the overall quality in places that you're not going to really notice it. And that's something that I can really appreciate. I will say, however, that a pin lock in the box would have been nice. But yeah, the AGV K1. I hope you enjoyed our review of this helmet. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more like this, go to our Champion Helmets YouTube channel, and there you can find more videos like this one. I'm Chris from Champion Helmets, and I'll see you all next time.